Rupert Lowe releases a 12 or 13 minute clip or 12 or 13 minute video where he outlines a proposal to Nigel Farage for them to join forces, right? And you have to ask the question, why would he be doing this, right? Why, just after the Manchester mayoral by-election, where his party couldn't even, think of this, couldn't even get 9%, I think they got 8.7% of the vote, so they couldn't even get 9% of the vote, right? Reform UK get about, I think, 21% of the vote, which in total is about 30%. And Labour, right, just absolute landslide, 47, and I'm not a Labour guy, but they get 47% of the vote, right? So even if you combine Restore and Reform, they're only at 30%. So I think Rupert Lowe is sort of starting to realise something we've been saying on the show for many weeks, and that is the fact that he stands no chance, right? He stands no chance on his own, and I would argue that even with Farage, I think it'd still be very difficult because these two parties, specifically Restore, are fringe parties, right? They are fringe parties. They sort of single issue parties, right? So I think Rupert Lowe is starting to realise this fact, and he's starting to panic, right? He's trying to do a bit of damage control and say, look, we're only however many months old, we're not even a year old, and we got 9% of the vote, right? This is not good. I'm sorry to say, if you really want to win, if you really want to stand a chance, then you're going to need the help of another party. So what has Rupert Lowe done? He has made a public offering to Nigel Farage, and he's saying that if we can both come to agreement on these 5 issues, then we should join forces. And I don't know really the specifics of what's going to happen here, whether it will stay as Restore Britain. Obviously, I wouldn't imagine that would be the case because Restore Britain is the minor party. Reform UK is polling very similar to Labour at the moment. Labour having quite a big boost because of Burnham. But Reform UK were polling as sort of number 1 in the country for quite a bit of time before Burnham came in. So I think it would probably be Reform UK, and then they'd bring in the Restore Britain policies into the party, and it would be moved more to the right, which Farage is trying to do the opposite. So this is why I'm saying it won't work, right? The reality is that this is not going to work. And actually it seems like Rupert Lowe is sort of throwing in the towel and forfeiting, saying, oh look, if we join forces we can win. So you can't win on your own, right? Are you already defeated? It hasn't even been a year. But nevertheless, let's look, what are these 5 issues that they must come into agreement on, and then they can sort of form a single party and join forces. So Rupert Lowe says that if we can agree on mass deportations, which is number 1, right? Mass deportations. If we can agree on reversing the Islamification of Britain, right? And Farage thinks he's going to take him seriously. And if we can agree on a referendum on restoring the death penalty. I don't disagree, to be honest with you. I think the death penalty would probably be of some good use in this country. But if you're trying to win an election and you're going to run on restoring the death penalty, the guy's he's been too much on Twitter, right? Too much of his time has been taken up by Twitter. He thinks Twitter's real life. But anyway, I might agree with something myself, but politically, will people get behind something like that? It's such a progressive liberal country, and they think people will get behind restoring the death penalty. This is why I'm saying this guy is not a serious guy. But what is the 4th one? Cutting welfare. Yeah, people will get behind that. And then the 5th one is he says that if they're going to have a party, that ex-Conservative ministers, or they wouldn't really be ex at that point, people that are sick of the ministers and MPs of the Conservative Party, they're sick of the Conservative Party, can't come into this new party, right? And he's saying if we can agree on that, if we can't have, I don't want ex-Conservative MPs coming into our new party. I want to have a referendum on the the death penalty. I want to reverse the Islamification of Britain, so I guess that includes banning halal and kosher slaughter, maybe even banning the hijab or the niqab, and all of this, policies that will not work in this country, and other things. And if we can agree on mass deportation, something Nigel has clearly stated, right, has said in the past, which again we've discussed, it's like Rupert Lowe's been watching the show, but Farage said that mass deportations are a political impossibility, and they are, right? And they are, as we've looked at what happened in the US with Trump. You know, he ran on mass deportations, and today he has, barely even deported 500,000 illegal immigrants, okay? When however many came in under Biden, upwards of maybe 15 million, 11 to 15 million came in under Biden, and they've only deported 500,000. So I think, and Farage said that before Trump even tried to implement his mass deportation operation, right? So Farage is a smart guy. He's been in politics a long time, right? And him and the sort of movement that they're building with Reform UK has gained massive traction. And like I said, it has been polling #1. Think of that. In a two-party system, Reform UK has been polling #1 for a few months, and now they're about the same as Labour. But for a minor part, what started as a minor party, for them to be polling just as high as the two main parties, in fact far superior to the Conservatives, is massive. And Rupert Lowe knows this, right? He knows this. So what do I think will happen? I can almost bet that Farage will probably not even acknowledge this video, okay? And the Restore Britain party is gonna disappear, with all respect. They're never going to be able to win an election. Are you serious? They can't even win a by-election, right? They can't even win a mayoral election. And you think they're going to win? You think they're going to have enough power and enough votes to sustain a majority? Is this fantasy land? I'm sorry to say. And I don't want to repeat myself. We've said this many times on the show before. I guess it seems like I've been vindicated. If anything, Rupert Lowe has now sort of publicly acknowledged that he'll never be able to win a government. And that's the fact, right? And I think if I was advising Farage, I think, you know, if he were to agree to this premise, which he won't, I think it would actually diminish his chances of winning on his own, right? And getting that government, getting that majority to form a government. So those are my 2 cents on what's going on with the breaking news of Rupert Lowe announcing that he wants to join forces with Reform UK. And we'll see what happens, right? We will see what happens there. But like I said, I don't even think Farage will acknowledge this. And it'll just look like Lowe's throwing in the towel, accepting defeat. And it's fantastic to see, frankly, right? It's fantastic to see.